What's up, everybody? This is Dan here with another Codex review for the Codex Station. Today, I'll be reviewing the miniseries The Ambassadors from Image Comics. It was a 6-issue miniseries released between March 2023 and June 2023. It was created and written by Mark Millar, with art by Frank Wheatley, Carl Kerschel, Travis Charest, Oliver Coipel, Matteo Buffagni, and Matteo Scalera, with colors by Frank Wheatley, Michelle Ascorn, sorry if I mispronounced that, Dave Stewart, Giovanna Nero, and Lee Lowridge, with letters by Clem Robbins. So the book is about this brilliant scientist named Shun He, who has developed a technology that can give superpowers to people. But after she develops it, she is betrayed by her husband, who frames her for a crime so that she gets imprisoned while he gets to make off with the technology, which really at that point it's not completely finished. And he steals her research as she's jailed. So the series starts with this has already happened, and she finds a way to get out of jail by giving herself superpowers, declares that she is going to pick people from around the world to build a superhero team. And she's not interested in making money, and she's not interested in picking people that are famous. She just wants to pick good people that will help her make a difference in the world, and picks people from all different walks of life. But what we come to find out is that in secret, her husband has also been giving superpowers to people, but he has been doing it not altruistically, but just as a way to make as much money as possible. And he has been selling the technology to the highest bidder, to the richest people in the world. And as the series goes, by the end of it, there's a big clash between the two groups. As far as the story goes, it's a good story. It's a lot of interesting concepts, which is something that I think we've all come to expect out of these Mark Millar miniseries, is that he's going to find a way to try and do something that we either haven't seen before or do something a little different. His stories are all really high in concept, so this is no different, but it is also dragged down by what I feel is the same issues in most of his miniseries, which is that it's too much that's introduced too fast. And there's especially in this one, there's too many characters for a 6-issue miniseries to really develop any of those characters in any real significant way to make us care about them and what happens to them. It's all really all kind of a superficial level with them, because 6 issues is just not enough room for this. And that's the problem I feel like he gets to in a lot of these series, is he locks himself into these 5 and 6-issue miniseries instead of something like this, which would really be better suited to being an ongoing series and being a story that could be expanded out and really gotten into. And there's also some things that narrative wise are just kind of ignored for the sake of the overall narrative. But some things like this character Shun He, who's a brilliant scientist, you think there's some things that she would have figured out about some of these people beforehand, which are just kind of ignored because, again, there's so much story to fit into such a small amount of issues. The artwork looks pretty good in it for the most part, but the way he chose to go with this series is each of the 6 issues is drawn by a different artist, and most of them are colored by a different artist as well. So there's no real consistency with the art. I guess I would kind of get it if it was each individual issue focused on a specific character, which they do to an extent, but there's also a lot of other characters that pop up through each one. So to me, sitting down to read it as a whole, it kind of takes away from the story, where from issue to issue, the artwork just changes dramatically. And some artists are better than others, in my opinion. So I might read one issue and think, oh wow, this artwork is spectacular. Then I'll go to the next issue. I'm like, oh, this artwork is terrible. Then go to the next issue, like, oh, this artwork is better than the last issue, but not as good as the one before that. And I feel like if it just had one artist throughout it, that it would be a much more cohesive book. So overall, I'll rate this a 7 out of a 10. Like all of Millar's miniseries, it is an entertaining read with some cool concepts and ideas, but it's just, as I said, it's too much story thrown in and not enough space for it to really grow. So I'm Dan Kelly. You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Go give me a follow. And you can find us online at thecodexstation.com, where there's links to all of our socials and bios of everyone that works for the Codex Station. So go give us a follow. And until next time, catch you by the spinner rack.